When they had journeyed full 9 days, Hagen of Trony said, "Hearken to my word. We have delayed too long to send the news to Worms on the Rhine. The envoy should have been in Burgundy or now." King Gunther answered, "Thou sayest sooth, and none were better for this business than thyself, friend Hagen. Ride now into my land, for thou art the fittest to tell of our coming." "Nay, certes, dear master, I am but a bad envoy. Let me stay here at sea and act the chamberlain. I will look to the woman's wardrobe till we bring them to Burgundy. Bid Siegfried rather carry the message, by reason of his great strength, and we will bear it through well. If he deny thee, urge him with friendly words that he do it for thy sister's sake." So Gunther sent for the knight who came when they had found him, and the king said, "We are well nigh home in my land. It is time I sent a messenger to tell my dear sister and my mother that we draw near. Undertake thou the journey, and I will owe thee much thank." But Siegfried would not do it till that Gunther had begged him, and said, "Ride not for my sake only, but for fair Kriemhild's, that the royal maiden requited, even as I." And when Siegfried heard that, he yielded. "Command what thou wilt, I will not gainsay it. I will do it for the sake of my beautiful lady. How should I deny aught to her that I bear in my heart? Because of her I will perform all that thou askest. Tell Uta then, the great queen, that we have prospered in our adventure, and let my brothers hear how that it hath fared well with us. Tell the same news to our friends, and hide nothing from my sister. Greet her from Brunhild and me. Greet also the courtiers and all my men. Say to them that I have gotten the desire of my heart, and bid Ortwin, my dear nephew, raise the seats by the Rhine. Make it known also to the other knights that I will hold a great hightide with Brunhild, and bid my sister, when she heareth I am at hand with my guests, prepare a fair welcome for my bride, for the which I shall ever be beholden to her." So Siegfried took leave of Brunhild, as was meet, and rode to the Rhine. In the whole world was no better envoy. With 24 knights he rode to Worms, and when it was noised abroad that he was come without the king, Gunther's servants were heavy for their cheer, for they feared that their lord had tarried behind, dead. The messengers sprang gaily from their horses, and Giselher, the young king, ran to them, and Gernot his brother, who cried quickly when he saw not King Gunther with Siegfried. "Thou art welcome, Sir Siegfried. Tell me, now, what thou hast done with my brother the king. If the strength of Brunhild hath reft him from us, a bitter wooing hath it been." "Fear not, thee and his kinsman, my friend, greeteth by me, for he hath sent me hither to you with news. Contrive now that I come to the queen and thy sister, for I am charged with the same message to them as to thee, from Gunther and Brunhild, that it standeth well with the twain." Giselher said, "Go into them straightway, and it will please my sister. She feareth for my brother. By my troth, she will see thee gladly." Siegfried answered, "If I can serve her in aught, it shall be done. Where are now the ladies, that I may go to them?" Giselher, the brave youth, bare the message. He said to his mother and his sister, "Siegfried is come to us, the hero of the Netherland. My brother Gunther hath sent him hither to the Rhine. He bringeth us word how it standeth with the king. Allow him to come to the court, for he bringeth news from Island." The noble women were heavy of their cheer. They ran for their robes and arrayed them, and bade Siegfried to the court, and he went gladly, for he yearned to see them. Kriemhild, the noble maiden, greeted him fair. "Thou art welcome, Sir Siegfried, valiant knight. Where's my brother, Gunther, the noble king? I fear we have lost him by Brunhild's strength. Alack, that ever I was born!" But the warrior answered, "Give me the guerdon of good news, for fair women, ye weep without cause. I left him safe and sound, I say sooth, and he hath charged me with the message. He and his wife command them lovingly to thee. O queen, dry thine eyes, for they will be here shortly. Kriemhild had not heard such good news for many a day. She wiped her bright eyes with her snow-white apron and began to thank the envoy for his message. So ended her sorrow and her tears. She bade Siegfried sit, whereto he was nothing loath, and said sweetly,
I would fain give thee the envoy's guerdon, wert thou not too rich to receive it. Take my good will in lieu thereof.
Though I had 30 lands, answered Siegfried, I were proud to take a gift from thy hand. Kriemhild said,
Be it so.
And she made the chamberlain fetch the envoy's meed. She gave him 24 bracelets with precious stones for his fee. The hero would not keep them, he was too rich a prince, but gave them to the maidens that were in the chamber. Uta also greeted him fair, and he said,
I must tell thee further what the king would have thee do when he cometh to the Rhine, for the which, if thou grant it, he will ever be beholden to thee. He would have thee receive his noble guest kindly, and ride out from Worms to the shore to meet them. He begged this of thee with true heart.
The beautiful maiden answered,
I will do it gladly. I will deny him no service. Faithfully and truly will I do it.
And she grew red from love. Never was prince's envoy better entreated. If she had durst kissed him, she had done it readily. On loving wise he took leave of the maiden. Then did the Burgundians, as Siegfried told them, Sindolt and Hunolt and Humolt the knight, hasted and raised seats on the stand before Worms. The king's servants rested not, and Ortwin and Gary sent messengers out straightway to Gunther's liegemen over all, with news of the hightide. The maidens looked to their appeal. The palace and the walls were decked out for the guests, and adorned cunningly for the stranger knights. All the roads were thronged with the kinsmen of the 3 kings that had been summoned to welcome Gunther and Brunhild, and many a rich vest was taken from its wrapping cloth. Then the news spread that Brunhild's friends had been spied on the way, and great was the press in Burgundy. Bold knights enow, and I ween, were there on both sides. Fair Kriemhild said,
Go now, you of my maidens, that will forth with me to the welcome, and seek out your best clothes from the chests, that we may have honour and praise from the guests.
The knights also bade bring out rich saddles, all of red gold, for the women to ride from Worms down to the Rhine. Better riding gear there could not be. Ha! How bright the gold shone on the horses and the precious stones on the bridles. They brought out gilded side saddles and goodly trappings for the women, and they were all merry of their cheer. The horses stood ready in the court for the noble maidens, as I have told you, and the poitrels were of the finest silk that was ever spun. 86 dames in head-coifs fair and dight in rich apparel came to Kriemhild, and thereto, featly adorned, many a beautiful damsel. 54 the fairest in Burgundy, with glittering lace over their yellow hair. All that the king had desired of them they did with good will. Fair robes of goodly stuffs that matched their white skins they wore before the stranger knights. None but a fool had found any of them amiss. Some had mantles of sable and ermine, and their arms and wrists had bracelets over the silk. None might tell all the goodly show to the end. With girdles cunningly fashioned, rich and long, they bound their gorgeous robes made of silk of Araby. The world held no fairer damsels. In their tightened bodices they laced them deftly. Certes, they had been grieved if their red cheeks had not outshone their vesture. Never queen had lovelier maidens. When now the women had done on their apparel, the proud warriors that were to lead them out drew nigh, a mighty force bearing shields and ashen spears.